Does bad breath, stained teeth, sores in the mouth, and other dental problems attract you? Do you think that looks nice on people when they smile? What about cancer risks, heart and blood vessel diseases, lung disease, and gastrointestinal disease? Does that sound like something you would want to have to deal with? All of these are a few of the many side effects used by tobacco. As said by Dr. Thomas Frieden, chronic diseases linked to obesity, poor nutrition, physical inactivity, and tobacco use are the leading cause of death in our nation. The use of tobacco is not worth the amount of health risks it brings in using it. It is hard on our bodies and is very costly to pay for the tobacco itself and the health issues. Just because tobacco is easy to get out there does not mean you should have to use it, because the more you use it, the longer you're going to get addicted to it, which means the harder it's going to be to stop. The effects of smoking are disturbing and usually serious. There are a few different ways to use tobacco, but they are all bad for you. I'm Taylor Christensen, and this is an informative speech about the side effects of using tobacco. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people die from diseases caused by smoking tobacco. 1 in 2 lifetime smokers will die from smoking, and usually are middle-aged people. Nicotine and carbon monoxide mixtures that are being smoked in the cigarette increases the heart rate and blood pressure, straining the heart and blood vessels. This continues to happen every time one cigarette is smoked, and eventually over time it starts to build up so much that the heart starts to give out. This leads to heart attacks and strokes. Because of the stopping of blood flow, oxygen gets cut off from the feet and hands. Sometimes people have to get their limbs amputated because of this. Carbon monoxide also takes a toll on the brain, muscles, and body tissues. The body starts to swell up over time and makes the heart work harder and faster. Eventually, the airways in the lungs swell up and less air is passed through the lungs. A person that smokes 20 cigarettes in a day breathes up to fill a cup of tar in just 1 year. Can you imagine what their lungs look like? It looks almost like a chimney covered in soot that is completely black. Some of the diseases that are caused with smoking are emphysema, bronchitis, lung disease, lung cancer, heart disease and strokes, causes low birth rate and prenatal mortality, which is referred to as a fetal tobacco syndrome. Not only is the person smoking the tobacco being harmed, but the people that are inhaling the smoke coming from the end of the lit cigarette. Secondhand smoke has almost the same amount of chemicals as a cigarette itself. Smoking tobacco is very dangerous and can be stopped. If you have not already done that today, think about starting to turn your life around for the better. Chewing tobacco has many of the same side effects as smoking tobacco does. There is not one that is better than the other because they are both bad for our health. The chewing of tobacco is still as harmful as smoking tobacco because the substance is being absorbed into the bloodstream. People that engage in smokeless tobacco have an increased heart and blood pressure. From the article Chew on This, a new study finds that chewing tobacco causes a spike in blood pressure and adrenaline, which, over time, can raise your risk of heart disease. Oral cancer is one of the most common types of cancer for people that chew tobacco. The tobacco contains about 28 cancer-causing chemicals. A couple indicators of oral cancer are having a prolonged sore throat and the difficulty of chewing food substances. Other cancer-causing chemicals are able to get into the vital organs such as the esophagus, bowels, bladder, and the stomach of a person. This can cause many different diseases and is often very uncomfortable. Chewing tobacco is also a very nasty habit and is very unclean, and people that spit have to carry something to spit into it all the time. The The teeth start to stain a yellowish brown color and also causes horrible bad breath. The teeth also start to disintegrate and leave just little stubs. The gums start to recede and eventually they can get so bad that the teeth just fall out. Bleeding and the cracking of lips are common as well when it comes to chewing tobacco because the nicotine dries them out. If a person has been chewing for long enough, the tongue can grow black hairs all over it. It is scary to think that all of these things can happen from just one little substance. Many people that use it or are thinking about using it really do not know what is put into a cigarette or chewing tobacco. It is not just one little thing. There are actually many harmful ingredients that are used. There is quite the assortment of materials that a person would never guess to go into something that they are going to be putting in their mouth or to be smoking. A few of the ingredients are arsenic, fertilizer, soot, formaldehyde, cyanide, pesticide, and even manure. There are about 600 different chemicals and other types of ingredients used in the making of cigarettes and chewing tobacco as well. They were all approved by the government in 1994 to be able to use in the making of tobacco. People that often smoke or are thinking about restarting should read this list. It is unbelievable some of the things that are used. All of these ingredients are what causes the serious side effects on people using tobacco or having to breathe in the secondhand smoke. It is alarming what is used, and people really do not know. They just use it. Every time that horrible stuff is put into a mouth, it is ruining the body little by little. With tobacco use being one of the top most leading causes of death in the nation, you would think people would think twice about what they are about to put in their mouth. Smoking tobacco can be dangerous for both the person and the person being around it that have to breathe in the smoke. It can cause serious diseases and even cancer that may even lead to death. The cost of cigarettes are not very cheap, and neither is paying for the health bills. Chewing tobacco is a very unclean thing to do and is very hard on the mouth. It causes yellowing of teeth, rotting of teeth and gums, and worst of all, cancer. Our nation needs to take a closer look at what is being put into these cigarettes and chewing tobacco because it is very alarming. The next time you see a person using tobacco, or you yourself do, think twice. Is it worth the medical bills, health risks, and the unclean appearance? Are you willing to slowly kill yourself? Smoking and chewing tobacco are very detrimental to the human body. Don't be willing to give in to those nasty side effects.